Hey guys, Mike Lydia9 here. Welcome to this video. I'm here with Ryan. I'm assuming that you're like waving or something like that. I don't know.
What is up, YouTube? I did a thing, so.
Alright. Hopefully this works out, guys, and like it's actually synced up and everything. This is my first time actually trying something like this. But Ryan and I met at VidCon. How was VidCon?
I had a great experience. Wait, was it your first time?
Yeah, it was my first
Okay,
time.
cool. Yeah, me too. It was a lot better than I expected. Yeah, it was a great time.
I'm glad you had a good first time.
I mean, I was expecting it to be good, but it was still higher than I expected. There's just a ton to do.
I don't know if I'm going to have to edit that out or not. Basically, when we were there, we got to see Teen Titans Go to the Movies, which comes out... What day does it come out?
July 19th, I believe. No, it's
July
27th.
July 27th, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Mamma Mia comes out on the 20th. We're bad at this, but you know, it works out because, like, I don't care.
Everyone knows that I'm known for my film reviews and my insightful commentary. That's all I do, so it's okay.
Yeah, you're completely serious in all your videos. Definitely check out Ryan in the description. He has some great videos on that channel. Very much like a low-budget Jax Films kind of guy.
Understandable. Understandable. I'm the first to admit it.
Anyway, back to the movie. We got to see it, and it was really neat. I might throw in some video if Ryan's still willing to give me the video that he has after that comment.
$50.
$50. How about 2 high fives?
Alright, whatever.
Alright.
Cool.
But yeah, we got to see it. It was pretty great, I thought. It was really neat because it was the first showing and everything. For those of you who don't know or haven't seen any trailers or anything like that, it's basically about the Teen Titans and they're wanting to get a movie made about them. And so it's very meta. Yeah. Do you have anything to add that's not spoilery?
Yeah, well, I mean, you see it in the trailer. There's a villain, Will Arnett.
Will Arnett's amazing.
And, I mean, the main, I guess, crux is, like, that they need a villain to get the movie made. So it's not, like, just about the movie being made. I mean, that's, like... the overall driving point of having the villain, but yeah, I mean, Will Arnett adds a lot to it.
And the other thing is the character that Will Arnett plays is Slade, who is in a lot of ways very similar to Deadpool. Like they make jokes about it all throughout. Yeah, they make jokes about Deadpool because Slade was technically first. But yeah, so like it's very much in a kid-friendly Deadpool style, which I really like. And it really feels like the movie is just kind of trying to enjoy itself. Like the people making it are just making it purely for fun, it feels like.
Right, yeah. And about the all the references to like Deadpool, which I mean obviously is a lot more well yeah, obviously it's more gritty and the humor is a lot darker than like with Slade, but they don't seem to like water it down. I felt like, because I felt like, I mean, obviously they were sort of trying to have like some parallelism between the characters. I mean, with all the references, but because I mean it's meta, so they're still trying to like play off the fact that they're similar characters, but I felt like it didn't feel like a watered down version because it was still interesting and funny.
And the other thing is they really didn't try to play into that Marvel versus DC rivalry. Like they were just kind of representing it as they're all superhero movies. They're all kind of the same genre. So like it was very much like kind of bringing them together, it felt like. Yeah,
and even though they still brought it up, it still was like more playful and everything, because I felt like Suicide Squad was supposed to be like a screw you to Marvel in a way, in the sense that like, hey, we can have fun too and have cool characters, but it just came across as not how they intended, I feel like.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I feel like this was kind of like the first time they tried to still keep it kind of dark when they brought in playful characters. This one was purely just fun.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and like all the actors in it and everything, I really thought were just like fantastic. Of course, it's the same people who do the Teen Titans Go to TV show and everything. And as we mentioned, Will Arnett, who is from Arrested Development and all kinds of things like that. He's always fantastic as a comedy actor. But the voice acting, I thought was really good, generally.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I remember, like, I don't know if they still do, but Cartoon Network had like such an obsession with Teen Titans Go. Like, it was all they played whenever I used to watch it, like a few years ago.
Yeah, and I never really liked the TV show all that much, personally. Like, it was just kind of... And so every time it was on, it was like, come on, give me another Pokemon episode.
I never minded it. It was obviously like not meant for me, but like I could appreciate it.
Yeah, and like there was kind of that part of it for me too, where it was like, yeah, this is a cool concept, but like I just don't enjoy it.
But I felt like the movie was, I mean, obviously, because like, I mean, with the show, like your kids can just watch it, but with the movie, like your parents are gonna. For like the younger kids, your parents are gonna have to watch it with you and whatnot or whatever. So like, I mean, it obviously was. They did a good job at making it interesting for an older audience.
Yeah, I think it was very much like anyone could watch it and enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
It had jokes that worked for everyone. Even though it was very lighthearted most of the time, it did have those moments of just really dark jokes.
Yeah, I was actually... That was one of the biggest things I was surprised about, how dark it was at times.
Yeah, like...
I don't... well, is it a spoiler if I think you might know what joke I'm talking about. After the whole song. It's when the song ends.
I think it kind of is a spoiler, yeah.
Okay, well, anyways, there's just one particular joke that I was like, whoa, whenever it happened, just because of how dark it was. It was funny. Yeah. It worked well, but it really surprised me.
And also, there were a lot of jokes with like references to other things that were kind of dark. Like they reference all kinds of superheroes. It doesn't matter what kind of superhero it is. It could be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something like that. They reference everything.
Right.
And like they go extremely dark with some of them, but it's still like just lighthearted enough to where you feel like, yeah, this is still a kids movie, but I can enjoy it.
Yeah, like I don't think they really held back. Like it felt I like it whenever something made for kids seems more like the producers or writers not trying to make it for kids necessarily, but more they're just like having fun with it and not being overly dirty at the same time. And this is what that felt like. It felt like they were just like having fun and making clean jokes that they actually thought was funny instead of like pandering to their audience.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like there are other movies where it's like it's become a meme, but Shrek, like they really go into like some jokes where like the kids would not get it at all, but like it's something that the parents are like, whoa.
Yeah, I've always loved Shrek, and like now when I watch it, I still do, because there are things I never noticed about it that make it funny.
And then for this, it's the same idea, just it keeps it kind of still clean enough, but it's still something that an older audience would enjoy.
Right.
Like, I think that really with this, surprisingly, the target demographic might be teenagers.
Yeah, I felt, well, maybe...
Like, not older teenagers, but like younger teenagers.
No, yeah, I agree, yeah.
Like, because, and I think that's neat because, like, it is the Teen Titans, so, like, you should kind of market it to them, I feel like, which is a good choice.
Yeah.
And then beyond that with references and stuff like that, like they go into Will Arnett, because he's actually a producer on it, I think. So
He
got
was,
to,
yeah.
like, yeah. So like he was involved in a lot more with like Arrested Development. They have references to. So it's not only superheroes. It goes into other things like that and just old '80s movies and stuff like that. So that it almost felt like it was kind of just this movie that loves the art of movies.
Right. And sorry, but
it's fine.
I want to go back to the voice acting because I didn't comment much on that, but I was kind of expecting Will Arnett to sort of phone it in because I mean his voice is like naturally pretty interesting as it is. So he didn't really have to do much. I mean, it sounded like there was obviously pitch shifting or whatever going on, but it didn't feel like, you know, he was just in it to like have his name slapped on it. You know what I mean? Like I felt like
yeah, it felt like he was kind of like he actually wanted to do this project.
Yeah, exactly.
And so like because of that, there were a lot more things where like it was things that he finds funny as well. So like if you like Arrested Development and stuff like that, it's just as interesting.
Yeah. Well, because there are subtle references to it. I guess not that subtle, but like you want to get it.
They're kind of subtle. Like
you're the one who told me about it.
Yeah, they're pretty subtle, but at the same time, it's like if you know that Will Arnett's the voice actor
right.
and you know about Job from Arrested Development,
it's
then
not.
You're going to immediately like start laughing at some of the lines that he says.
Exactly. Then no one else would find that funny.
Yeah, exactly. Like anyone else in the audience is like, "What are you laughing at? It's not that funny."
Exactly.
But yeah, then like with all these references, a lot of them are kind of older references, and so like the animation style was really interesting. They kind of made it a bit like from the TV show. They made it a bit kind of more like it felt like they had a bit of like static over it, like not extremely noticeable, but it was kind of just like they put a lot more detail in it, kind of trying to make it look slightly aged. I felt like.
Oh, okay, that's what you. Interesting.
I don't know. Did you feel that way as well, or no?
The only thing that I wasn't crazy about was the fact that the animation to me looked a lot similar to the animation on the show. I mean, like if you look at the Simpsons movie and you look at where the show was at the time the Simpsons movie came out, you can tell like a big increase in the animation, in the style of animation. It just looks a lot better than what the show was at the time, and I just felt like here the animation. I mean, okay, there was but the dream, like you know the dream sequence. There's this.
That's kind of spoilery, so we'll stay away from there. But yeah, I know.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna say what it's about, but I'm just saying like they
did a lot more with that section than the TV show.
Yeah, I like that when they switched it up a bit, but yeah, I felt like most of it just looked a lot like a TV show, which I wasn't crazy about, but
it looked very similar, but at the same time, it looked like they had slightly improved it to make it look a bit cleaner and everything.
Okay.
But also still, it had kind of that touch of like, this is kind of an old style animation in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and that might just be me not having seen the show for a while and not really. Yeah.
Like it didn't feel quite as much like traditional Flash animation, I don't think.
Yeah, it still looked like a little cheap and like bouncy and not smooth.
Yeah.
But I mean, still a lot of the like, I mean, I know it's CGI, so I don't know if you can really say cinematography, but angles and everything were still pretty interesting at times.
Yeah, it was like it felt drawn out rather than being just Flash animation to me.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It still didn't feel like. I mean, because like shows like Family Guy, they always use like the same angles, and they like never switch angles. You know, like it's always the same shots of like whatever location they're at, but and it's a lot cheaper to do. But I mean, there was a lot of angle changes and everything in this, which takes obviously takes a lot more effort, so I appreciated that.
Yeah, and the example that I've always seen as like a big example of what I'm kind of thinking of is Johnny Test.
Right.
They started it out actually hand drawing everything, and then they switched over to Flash animation.
Oh, really?
And yeah, like it doesn't look as good anymore.
Yeah.
As it used
No.
to.
I didn't know that any animated series from like the past decade or so actually drew it out.
It was like way back when it first started out that it was actually drawn out and everything, but then they kind of changed it over. But yeah, it felt more like the old style of Johnny Test rather than the new.
Okay.
I don't know. I might be completely wrong.
Johnny Test is like, yeah, a prime example of like, I mean, at least in modern day, or I don't know, is the show still going on?
I think it is.
Yeah, I just remember like seeing it a few years ago or so, and like the animation style just looks gross because it's like it's so bouncy and like it doesn't look smooth, it looks cheap, and it's, you know, and I felt like this definitely wasn't on that level.
Yeah, I agree with that. It was this one was definitely better than the new Johnny Test, I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean that's not saying much, but like it's actually like really good animation is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess like I guess let's just move on to like final thoughts on it now. Like I guess you can start.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't really have any complaints at all, other than the animation being. I mean, obviously, animation is extremely difficult as is, so like, it's obviously not a deal breaker. It's still impressive. Any animation is impressive, but yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised. I think you'd probably like it any age you are if you appreciate superhero movies at all.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know, I'd probably give it, for what it is, a 8 out of 10.
Alright, I think maybe slightly lower just because like it's not necessarily like it's nothing insanely special. It's very much like it's not going to be something that you remember for a long time down the road or anything like that. And it is still, even though it kind of works for all audiences, it is still obviously just a young audience movie.
I feel like I'm rating it so high just because I had such low expectations going into it.
True.
So maybe that's...
Yeah, I'm trying to kind of narrow it down for me personally, and like I'd say probably like a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's what I'd give it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was arguing between those two. Yeah, that's understandable.
Hey guys, Michael89 here. Thank you so much for watching all the way through that video. It was a long one, I know. If you enjoyed it, make sure to check out Ryan in the description below. Also, if you're new here, subscribe and check out the last video. Why not? Am I right? Also, hit the notification bell because apparently that's important now, and I just haven't been doing it for the longest time. That would probably help me grow a bit.